Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Moms for Liberty Wisconsin School District of Menomonee Falls Candidate Forum. My name is Bill Brewer, Moms for Liberty Wisconsin Ambassador and Washington County Chapter Chair, and I'm also a 1988 graduate of Menomonee Falls High School. And I'm excited to be here with you and with all of you this evening. Let's begin tonight, if you would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Flag's right up here. Please remove your hats if you would. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Moms for Liberty is dedicated to fighting for the survival of America by unifying, educating, and empowering parents to defend their parental rights at all levels of government. We want to see all parents empowered and thriving in a culture of liberty, and we accomplish this by standing for truth, building relationships, and empowering others. In that vein, the primary purpose of tonight's forum is to educate you and the rest of the voters and parents of the district about the platforms and plans of the candidates so you can make informed decisions on or before April 7th. Once elected, you will also then know what you can expect from these leaders so you can hold them accountable for their decisions and their votes. Please visit momsforliberty.org to learn more. And I also have some information for those who are here in the back, including some of my business cards if you'd like to learn more. Tonight's forum is being streamed and recorded by Falls Cable Access. Welcome to all of tonight's viewers and to those who are watching this meeting. Thank you for taking the time to inform yourselves whether you're watching at home or whether you're with us here tonight. And many thanks to Chris Forston from Falls Cable Access for partnering with us to make tonight's broadcast possible. Prior to tonight, we had a Google survey available to the public to submit questions for the candidates. Most of tonight's questions come from those submissions. However, for those who are here, if you would like to submit questions to the candidates tonight, you may go to the back table and complete a form. The volunteers back there will compare your question to the questions already being asked. And if we see a good theme develop that's not being asked, we'll have time for probably one question from the audience tonight. But rest assured, most of the questions were taken from direct input from your community. Whether you're here tonight or watching this replay on the Falls Cable Access YouTube channel, you certainly want to hear as much as possible from the candidates. For that reason, I will ask our attendees to hold your applause, please, until we begin to close tonight's event. I will also ask that you refrain from outbursts and refrain from displaying signs. Any outburst of any kind, any signs of any kind, and you will be asked to immediately leave. Please respect your candidates and respect the process tonight. All 6 candidates were invited to tonight's forum, and only one of them declined. The other 5 are here, and I congratulate you and thank you for attending. Candidates were given some numbers in a random draw just a few minutes ago to determine their seating order. The first candidate was Becky Durline. She will have 2 minutes for her opening statement, and all candidates will have those same 2 minutes. We'll begin asking questions, and every question they will have 90 seconds to answer those questions. We have a timekeeper up front to give them 30-second and 15-second warnings so they know when their time is approaching. And then for a closing statement, you'll have 1 minute. Any questions from the candidates? All right, well, that's enough for me. Let's hear from the candidates. Becky, if you could please take your 2 minutes for your opening statement at this time. Thank you.
Is this on already? Is it?
Yeah, just turn it up there.
Perfect. Hi, I'm Becky Durline. I have been a resident of Menomonee Falls since 2013. My husband and I moved here, and then in 2017, when we were deciding where we wanted to put down more permanent roots, we chose Menomonee Falls again. We chose this district for the strong schools and the positive community that we knew was here. We have a daughter who attends Shady Lane Elementary as well. We've had such a positive experience with sending our daughter to Shady Lane. And we are so grateful for the teachers who have been helping her there. My background, I have a bachelor's degree in in mathematics and education. I am a current high school math teacher in a neighboring district. I also have my master's degree in educational leadership. So I've been teaching for 13 years now, and my current teaching experience, along with my educational leadership degree, allow me to see both perspectives from the admin side of things, from the teacher side of things, and from the parent side of things too. So I think that gives me a unique perspective to make decisions that are balanced and really put students and families first. I want to work to align all of our decisions to our district's mission and vision and values. And I want to ensure that all families, teachers, and students really do feel that we are a school district of choice. So I thank you for coming out here tonight and listening to all of us, and I really look forward to getting to hear more of your values and concerns as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Becky. Appreciate that. Jefferson Davis, you have 2 minutes.
Bill, thank you. And thank you, Elizabeth and Tracy and Monica for Moms for Liberty. What an amazing organization. They have really stepped up their leadership role, not only here in this area, but across America, empowering students and parents from a distribution standpoint, not from a government down, but from a parent-student up. So thank you for doing that. We go back 40 years. I remember when you were at the Air Force Academy, your dad and mom and I and all you kids, we went to church together. Your dad always had a big stogie cigar, and he reminded me of the actor Shaft on TV. So amazing guy. Your brother and I have officiated together for decades. Great family. Thank you for hosting this. Our spouses are here tonight. My wife, Joel's wife, and Nicole's husband. Thank you for being here. I know we've been putting up with a lot of nonsense, but it means a lot to have you here, and we're very thankful that you are here. I'm older than dirt. My twin is 67 years old. I'm not telling you how old I am. I've been here longer than a lot of you are old, and I have a small business. I serve family and business estates under the estate planning umbrella from 3 perspectives: taxes, assets, and legal issues. I want to make sure while you're living, when you die and pass on, you're free of government, you're free of long-term care and health care bankrupting your family, and you make sure that you have a transition from your generation to the next generation seamlessly, stay out of probate, stay out of guardianship. That's what I do every day, and I have no intention of retiring. I'm so thankful that all of you are here tonight, and I can't wait to get at some of these questions so that we can put the truth out there, so that we can put the facts out there, so we can put the data out there that is irrefutable, undeniable, indisputable, instead of some of the stuff that you're hearing and seeing. That will be corrected tonight. So thank you, Bill, for letting us be here.
Thank you. Dr. Joel Wappert, you have 2 minutes.
All right. Thank you, Moms for Liberty, for hosting and moderating this event. Thank you for the Public Library for actually hosting it here. Appreciate that. I'm Joel Wappert. I've been a Menomonee Falls resident for about 12, 13 years now. Had the honor of seeing my son, who's in the audience here, go through the Menomonee Falls schools, graduate in the class of 2025. Very proud of him, very proud of the education that he received. I thank my wife for being here tonight. She's my rock. She's my strong hand that kind of guides me when I'm off the rocker.
You are sometimes.
But I appreciate you guys for being here. Thank everyone else for being here too. It's important that I think the community is engaged and involved in such a decision like this. You guys pick your leaders in the community, and this is a great opportunity for you guys to do that and kind of learn about us. I'm excited to be here, and I'm going to actually save some time.
Thank you, sir. Emily Kant Schlimme.
Is this on?
Yes, it is. You may just need to pull a little closer. There you go. Might as well.
On the side. So, hi everyone, I'm Emily Kant Schlimme. My family has probably called Menomonee Falls home since 2020. And having spent part of my childhood here, I knew this was a wonderful community to come back and put down my roots and raise my children. I am a proud parent of 2 children who attend district schools. I have a kindergartner and 2nd grader who attend Shady Lane Elementary. And as a parent, I care deeply about the education and experiences that help our students learn and grow. Professionally, I bring over 15 years of HR and leadership experience. I also hold a professional of HR certification. I've led initiatives from recruiting and retention, engagement, leadership development, workforce planning, policy development as well. And much of my work has been focused on helping people and teams succeed, from developing leaders, supporting growth, and really fostering positive collaborative environments. And my work has taught me that the importance of listening early, bringing voices to the table, really can help make thoughtful and important decisions that people trust. I've also partnered with community organizations and schools to expand youth apprenticeships, dual enrollment programs, as well as support job readiness programs. These experiences really reinforced to me the importance of strong strategic partnerships and structured learning opportunities that really prepare students for success beyond graduation, giving them the skills and confidence to thrive once they're out in the world after they graduate. In the community, I do co-lead a group of second grade Girl Scouts. I serve as a team parent on Little League. I volunteer with PTO events and my church. And I'm running to bring a parent perspective to the board, apply my HR expertise to support
Thank you, Ms.
educators
Cantlemy.
and staff.
Thank you very much, your time. Thank you very much. And we have Nicole Barker. You have 2 minutes. Thank you.
Good evening, Moms for Liberty members, fellow parents, grandparents, concerned citizens, and everyone gathered here tonight. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for hosting this, and also for the incredible work that you guys do every day. Standing up for parental rights, defending childhood innocence, and demanding schools that actually educate rather than push agendas and waste our hard-earned tax dollars. My name is Nicole Barker. I'm a nurse with more than 20 years of experience. The past 10 years, I've worked in behavioral health and substance abuse, where I've walked alongside families through some of the darkest moments in their lives. I know that events that happen as a child can have a dramatic impact on their lives growing up. I've worked in a county jail, helping people get through being separated from their families, obtaining resources for people who are severely mentally ill, and ensuring they're able to get the help that they need. I'm also proud to serve as president of the Menomonee Falls Public Library Board, where I've worked to keep the community resources accessible, family-friendly, responsibly managed, and focused on literacy and shared community values. I've led the library through the Children's Area Refresh, opening Latitude Cafe in the library, bringing in almost $8,000 last year that the library would not have had otherwise. Ensuring transparency by live streaming all of our meetings. And we are currently working on starting up a capital campaign for fundraising to remodel the rest of the first floor. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now move to the question and answer period. Just a reminder to all the candidates and those in attendance, you'll have 90 seconds to answer each of those questions. Again, you'll be given the warning at 30 and 15 seconds left up front here. And just a reminder for those, again, in the attending here, if you have a question you'd like to submit, please submit it at the back table. And we'll leave that open until 6:55. At 7 p.m., one of the volunteers will be bringing a question forward to be asked. So just as a reminder for everybody. Okay, so we're first going to go to Mr. Davis. First question. We received several questions from district residents related to budgets and finance, so that's where we'll go for the first question. According to the 2025-26 School District of Menomonee Falls final budget presentation, the Fund 10 operating budget expenditures exceed budgeted revenues, creating a deficit of $1.6 million. The question for you and the rest of the candidates here, how do you plan to address this impending budget deficit the district is facing without further growing a current teacher salary gap?
Thank you, Bill. First of all, there is no deficit. The budgets have been balanced for 3 years in a row. We just found out, Nicole and I have been at several meetings in the last 2 or 3 months, that there's going to be a 4th year in a row next year of a balanced budget. So we have no structural deficits. I don't know where that information is from, but I've got the information from the superintendent and the current school board. We also know this, and I have to be real quick because we only have 90 seconds. The administrator superintendent's office has repurposed at least 4 to 5 positions, saving $650,000 minimum per year into perpetuity, and he's looking at repurposing another 2 to 3 positions that will bump that up to $1 million each year. Currently, we have a $59 million budget. 56% is from the local taxpayers, businesses, corporations, and landlords. The other is from the state. You never want to be too dependent upon a source that you don't have control over, and we don't have control over the state of Wisconsin, them pulling the rug off from us anytime they want to. So we need to become more independent of the state, not more dependent. We have 3,785 students in 6 schools. We got rid of $3.3 million in debt defeasance. We eliminated the non-referendum Fund 38 balance. In 6 years, Fund 39 referendum balance will be paid off. We have no operating referendums. We have no building referendums. We don't borrow money to fix things. We do it in-house. We have a $10 million program just across the creek here at the rec center, Riverside.
Thank you, Mr. Davis.
You gotta be kidding.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. We'll move next to Dr. Wappert. Dr. Wappert, once you get the microphone, you will have 90 seconds. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So, yeah, as Jefferson had put it, we are at a balanced budget for the 25-26 school year. Here's a little history on this. In September, when we had our annual business meeting, we presented a balanced budget. Okay, at this time, the state budget was not set. Okay, the state was going through their biennial budgeting, and it was not set. With what they had told the school districts, we presented a balanced budget. Okay. The state presented their numbers, and they shorted many school districts, especially when it comes to special education. That is what left us with the $1.6 million deficit. In the same time, the school district had a $4 million project, and this is how we solved this deficit. We had a $4 million project to move our district office so we could help the police department expand here at the village hall. We decided to move that to an area where we have space within the district. So we're not gonna build a new building, and we're not gonna do all that. So we put that in 2 phases. So that is how we covered the 1.6 million. We broke it up in 2 phases. We're gonna do 1 phase this year to get them moved over here to the new district office, and then we'll worry about phase 2 after phase 1 is complete.
Thank you, Dr. Wappert. Ms. Kant-Schlimme.
Keep it there. Yep.
Yeah, if you could pass that down.
You know, as Dr. Wappert has said, we did receive that last funding from the state, and the board did creatively look at our district relocation and how to cut the budget this year to level it out. One other big part of the question is, how do we look at our budgets while also not making the teacher's salary gap greater? There's a lot of issues that have been brought up with salary compression in order to remain competitive. One of my experiences in recruiting, I know sometimes you have to bump up that lower pay to get good teachers to the district, but then that's where we have compression. So I do think we have to look responsibly of when we have teachers retire. How can we reinvest those retirement savings into our teachers' budgets to address those compression issues, make sure that they have fair and predictable pay, so we do remain a district of choice for our teachers. I do also think it's important to really use our taxpayers' dollars wisely, and at the same time, we're taxpayers to the state, and I think the school board, and I saw a recent email from Superintendent Muniz, that we are doing more advocacy for the state, so we do get stronger funding back from the state as well.
Thank you, Ms. Kant-Schlimme. Ms. Barker.
So I believe that financially, the Menomonee Falls School District is in a good position due to Dr. Munoz and Caitlin Windler's quick and decisive actions. Right now, the mill rate is the lowest in 36 years. The CE and Red Riverside expansion is completed and is now open to the public, which cost $10 million and was able to be completed with no debt, no referendum, and without increasing taxes. There's been a balanced budget for the last 3 years and will continue to be balanced next year as well. For the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025, the third-party auditors gave the Menomonee Falls School District the highest possible rating, which is an unmodified audit opinion. By collaborating with Dr. Munoz, Caitlin Lindler, and her financial team, I believe we can continue to be fiscally responsible and avoid any referendums or tax hikes, and also investing into a salary schedule for the teachers would help to fix those compression issues, which I know that is already something that is being discussed and is being worked on. And I do believe that we do need to fix that so that the teachers have a schedule, that they know what is coming in the future and that there isn't any compression.
Thank you, Ms. Barker. Our final response for question 1, Ms. Derline. You have 90 seconds.
As many candidates have already noted, we do have a balanced budget due to some very skillful financial planning from our school district. But that is no thanks to the funding that has come from the state. So promised funds have not been given. As Dr. Walker was saying, the way that school funding works is that the state promises a certain percentage of special education funding back to schools and predicts a certain percentage, and it's not until months and months later that the actual percentage comes out. Our district was very smart in budgeting for a less percentage than what the state promised, and it was still lower than that, which was this $1.6 million difference. With some very skillful ways of moving money around, our district does have a balanced budget this year and a balanced budget next year, but we need to be advocating for fair funding from the state, because if this trend continues, it is not sustainable for anyone. And you can look at public schools all over the state of Wisconsin. All public schools deserve funding, and we need to be advocating from the state for that fair funding. And that is something that I am committed to in this role as well, advocating for that for our district and all districts in the state of Wisconsin.
Thank you. Move to our next question. As I stated, and this will be Dr. Whopper, you'll have the first response. As I stated in my introduction, Moms for Liberty is a parental rights organization. So I was happy to see several questions from the community that are related to the roles of parents, teachers, and administration in the education of children. Here's your next question. What is the relationship between parents, teachers, and administration in the education of Menomonee Falls students, and what will you do to promote that relationship? Dr. Whopper, 90 seconds.
All right, thank you. And I do honor the parental rights. I think parents should have their rights and say over their education. I think it's important to have a good relationship between parents, teachers, administration, with transparency, with open lines of communication, and parents should have their rights to opt their kids out of things that go against their beliefs. Parents should have their rights to see what the curriculum that is being taught to them is. It's very important that the parents and teachers work together, and we see this with parent-teacher organizations. We see this with whatever we're doing tomorrow, parent conferences. Sorry, thank you. Parent conferences is a great opportunity for parents to get face-to-face with the teacher and see what is going on. I know I like it when I go to my son, who's in North Middle School right now. I go to his conference and I see what he's working on. I see the progress he's making. I'm having these open lines of communication with teachers, and and that's how it should be.
Thank you, Dr. Whopper. Ms. Kant-Schlemme.
I think this is a great question. I think parents, community members, teachers, administrators, we all play a part in making a strong school district. And I do believe that parents should absolutely have a say in their own child's education, while also balancing that a parent's choice shouldn't eliminate educator-led options for other students in the district. And so I think we need to find a really fine balance of that to make sure that parents are feeling that their kids are getting the education that they need and deserve, yet having all of those opt-out options if there is something that they are uncomfortable with. I do think we need to really trust our teachers as professionals that they are, utilize their expertise to really bring a well-rounded education to our students. And really where the school board's role falls in is our job, if elected, is really to provide an education for all students. We have to ensure that they have well-rounded, high-quality education that meets state standards and serves the needs of every student. And so I really think we need to have a balanced approach. I also think open communication, bringing all voices to the table are really key. We are much better together than we are divided, and so find ways that we can work together, collaborate, but then also have transparency in the process, because the more you know, the more confident you can be in your choices.
Thank you, Ms. Cantlimi. Ms. Barker.
I believe that the government does not co-parent with us. Parents have a fundamental right to know what is being taught and what books are in the library and what medical or other conversations are happening at school. A lot of times parents don't know right away, and they're not told until well after something happens, and that's unacceptable. I believe our libraries and schools should be mirrors of our community's values. My leadership on the library board proves that I can balance the diverse needs of the public while respecting the primary role of parents in choosing what materials are appropriate for their children. Parents are primary stakeholders in their education. I support an informed consent model for all curriculum and health-related decisions. I'm committed to transparency and the constitutional rights of every parent in this village.
Thank you, Ms. Barker. Ms. Derline.
The relationship between parents, students, and our school district is a partnership built on transparency, and I think that's where we need to lead from. Parents are absolutely stakeholders in their child's education, but we have some very, very educated individuals that are working for the school district, and we need to trust those individuals as well. It is absolutely a partnership, and we can lead with transparency. All parties are able to see curriculums, should be allowed to look through those things. We have opt-out policies already in place that are available for all families. And so allowing our community to understand what their options are is part of that transparent partnership. Educating students is not done in silos. We need to all be communicating together and working together. As a teacher, I see this firsthand. Communication with parents is so key. Communication with all of the adults that are working with that child to provide them with the best opportunities that we can give them is so important. So leading with partnership and transparency is the way to go.
Thank you, Ms. Derline. Mr. Davis.
Thank you. Let's put this in perspective. There's 600 employees that work for the school district, full-time equivalent about 500. There is a salary schedule. I have it in my car if you want to see it. The compression issue has been addressed and fixed. The lower teacher salaries have been increased massively in spite of what you're seeing and hearing. I can show you the salary schedule. The difference is it wasn't accepted by the teaching staff. Now there's another one that almost mirrors exactly what was offered a year ago. So the compression issue is fixed. The lower teacher salary issue is fixed. The salary schedule is fixed. The 600 employees matter is fixed. The school board and the superintendent implemented a 3-year program where if you retire at age 55, we'll give you a $5,000 check to walk away over a 3-year period. Last year, 30 did it. This year, about 20 are going to do it. And next year, probably 60 or 80, which will save the taxpayers about $2.7 million. When you put that with the restructuring of the administration office, when you put that with the village board, we don't use their building anymore, you're talking real money. It's about $3.5 million in savings that we don't have to increase your taxes. Parents should be happy about that. Teachers should be happy about that. And the community should be happy about that, because nothing else matters if we don't have them being happy.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. For our next question, we will start with Ms. Kant-Schlemme. You'll take the first response. Another prevalent theme that emerged from district residents was leadership. And in that vein, here's our next question. What is the purpose of the School District of Menomonee Falls Board of Education, and how are you uniquely qualified to fulfill that purpose? You have 90 seconds.
So I view the role of the school board as a role of governance, not micromanagement. Some of the key things that they focus on is setting policy and goals, hiring and evaluating leadership, specifically the superintendent, overseeing budget and resources, supporting staff, representing the community, and ensuring that we're having that compliance and accountability. And at the end of the day, their main focus is focusing on our students so they all have a great, well-rounded education. And where some of my skill set fits in, having a background in HR, I have done a lot with policy development. One thing I feel very strongly around policies is policies really shouldn't just hit that bare minimum. Obviously, we want to hit the bare legal minimum of all things, but I think it's important to have policies that are thoughtful, caring, and a policy is more than just a piece of paper. When we are looking at making these policy decisions as a board, we also have to think about what does that look like in the classroom? Do we need to give additional training or support to administrators and teachers to make sure the intentions of our policies are played out?
Thank you, Ms. Kant-Schlemme. Ms. Barker, and if you could please put the microphone a little closer so everybody can hear you real well. Thank you so much.
Is that better?
I think
I know
so.
I talk kind of quiet.
Yeah, that's, I just let, you can even take it out if you need to. Yeah, feel free,
Is that
please.
better?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much.
All right, so I believe that as a member of the school board, it's actually kind of mirrored just as the library board is. You oversee with 7 members, 1 person, and that is, in the school board's case, the superintendent. In the library board's case, it's the library director. So we do kind of similar things. We oversee the budget, we make policy, we revise policy, we approve budgets, hire and oversee the either superintendent, or in my case, it's the library director. We represent the community's values and expectations. We ensure accountability to students, parents, and taxpayers. In the case of the library, to the community members and everyone who visits our library. I believe that school boards shouldn't micromanage, as that's the superintendent's job. But boards absolutely should set clear expectations for academic excellence, curriculum standards, and parental involvement. I see my role as being the voice for parents who want transparency and excellence, making data-driven decisions based on what produces results, holding administrators accountable to measurable outcomes, ensuring our schools reflect our community's values, and being accessible and responsive to constituent concerns.
Thank you, Ms. Barker. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Ms. Derline.
The role of the school board is to represent our community with transparency and open communication. The role of the school board is governance, not micromanagement. We are here to provide oversight and not interference into day-to-day activities. The school board is there to set policies that guide our school district and allow our professionals that work for the school district to provide the best education possible for our students. We are here to ensure that our district is following and meeting its mission and vision. We are here to make sure that we are meeting our 4 big aims and that our district is making thoughtful, balanced decisions that represent our community. We are here to be open, to communicate with the public, listen to the public's concerns, and make balanced decisions and informed decisions. We are here to create structures and systems, not to micromanage the day-to-day operations of what is happening in a school every single day.
Thank you, Ms. Derline. Mr. Davis, You have 90 seconds.
Thank you, Bill. There's only one reason that we should be on a school board, and it's manifested in 3,785 reasons. That's how many kids we have in our school district, and it's going this way, not this way. So we need to do everything we can to hold on to that. How does it manifest itself? This school district is the most transparent school district anywhere in the state of Wisconsin. Here's one reason right here. There's another reason we're doing this all the time. All of the committee meetings I've been to, all of the school board meetings that I've been to have been broadcast live. You can go to the district website. It's interactive in real time. You can get the monthly newsletter. You can email, you can call, you can text the superintendent, the school board members, there's some of them here tonight. They are available. And there's many, many more ways of transparency. Now, the manifestation of what our role is, we need to create an independent, neutral, and safe educational environment. What does that look like? We have spent $1 million on curriculum for science, English language, social studies, and math. The achievement and growth scores were in the 60s. Now they're over 80s. They're going off the charts. That's good. We're number 9 out of 361 school districts. And the last thing is, we have AP advancement classes at the high school. More people are participating, getting higher scores, and we went from bronze to silver, and we're just getting started.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Dr. Wappert, you have the last response.
All right, thank you. I think a couple people stole some of my answers. I probably should have covered them up. You know, we are elected by the community for the community, right? We represent the community for governance of our schools, not management. There's a big difference there between governance and management. A lot of our role revolves around creating policies that are required to meet state and federal statutes and laws. Part of our school board's role is curriculum approval. Okay, taking feedback from the community of what our values are should be transferred to the curriculum that we provide. Budget approval is a huge one. We are elected as officials to be good stewards of taxpayer money, which we do here at Menomonee Falls. As far as our management, we only manage one employee, and that is the superintendent. We are responsible for hiring him and doing his performance review. And why am I qualified? I've served in public sector leadership for 7 to 10 years now in the local government. I have my doctorate in business administration, and the school board is a business that we need to run and make smart leadership decisions.
Thank you, Dr. Wappert. For our next question, Ms. Barker, you will have the first response. As you can imagine, some of our submitted questions relate directly to prevalent cultural questions facing K-12 districts across Wisconsin and across the country today. I'll paraphrase one resident's entry with this question: should biological males be allowed to participate in female sports against biological females? Why or why not? You have 90 seconds.
Absolutely not. And I'll tell you this from a nursing perspective. Biological males are built differently than females. By allowing biological males to compete against females, they're going to win most of the time. And this is why we had a separation between male and female sports in the first place. Because their muscle mass is bigger, their bone structure is different, which allows them to run faster, climb higher, jump higher than any female could, no matter how much they train. And that's what.
Thank you, Ms. Barker. Ms. Derline, you'll have the next response, but before you give your response, I want to remind those in attendance that any outbursts will not be tolerated. These are questions that came from your residents. So please respect the process. Thank you. Ms. Derline?
As a school board member, it would not be my job to invent new rules on the fly, but it is my job to ensure that we are following laws and guidelines as put out by the organizations that are already putting out those laws. So the WIAA, the Title IX laws. It is my job to follow those laws and prevent risk, while also ensuring that our district is treating students respectfully with dignity.
Thank you, Ms. Derline. Mr. Davis,
You might
you
give her
have,
60 seconds?
you have 90 seconds,
Oh,
sir.
okay, all right. Before I continue, my wife and I brought our property tax bill from the last 40 years. It wasn't that long ago that we were paying $2,000 a year for the school district. Now we're under $1,500. That's a 25% cut through fiscal sound management and the village trustees and the village president who are in this room because they expanded the tax base to help us with issues about biological men and women's sports. So I just want, and you can see this later if you want to. And yes, it has something to do with the question. So number 2, we all have 23 pairs of chromosomes. The first 22 pair are exactly the same. They're called autosomes. It's the 23rd pair that determines what sex we are. You're either going to be an XX, a female, or you're going to be an XY, a male. And the man determines that because he either donates an X chromosome to the mother and they have a baby girl, or he donates a Y chromosome and they have a baby boy. That can't be changed. So the answer to your question is no, men should not be in biological sports. My wife works out at a local facility, and it's a facility that allows men to be in the women's restrooms. Good Lord Almighty, why would we allow that in our schools? So I will strongly, but I'll do everything I can to protect a person who's being challenged by that situation, but we are not going to allow men in girls' sports if I'm successful being on the school board.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Dr. Whopper.
All right. Should biological males be allowed to participate in female sports? Absolutely not. I believe we need to protect the integrity of women's sports for the obvious reasons that we've heard tonight. Physical makeup of a body, abilities of a male body. I am all for an environment where we can have kids participate, and there are tons of events and activities that all students can participate in. I play co-ed softball. There are activities out there, but I will stand up for the integrity of women's sports.
Thank you, Dr. Whoppert. And Ms. Klant-Schlimme, you have the final response.
So our role as board is really to follow state and federal laws. This includes our state athletic association rules. I do understand this is a very politically charged topic, and one role of the school board is also fiscal responsibility and reducing legal risk. And so I think it's very important that when we are looking at policies related to this, we are watching closely state and federal laws related to this. I really feel that the decisions really should be guided by the law and best practices rather than pressure from social media or political pressure. Also, at the end of the day, the role of the school board is to support student well-being while ensuring fairness. It's really important that a school community that fosters acceptance, gives mental health support where it's needed, and supports all students while maintaining equal and fair opportunities for every student to participate and succeed.
Thank you, Ms. Klant-Schlimme. And now for this next question, Ms. Derline, you will have the first response. An area of growing concern in K-12 education is artificial intelligence, or AI, as we all know it. Moms for Liberty is taking a leadership position nationally on this topic by helping parents understand AI, its algorithms, and how its use is impacting our children. For all the potential benefits of using AI in the classroom, there are already significant risks emerging. Just one example, the Center for Democracy and Technology reports that 1 in 5 high school students say that they or someone they know has had a romantic relationship with AI. What guardrails should the School District of Menomonee Falls Board of Education put in place to leverage the benefits of AI while simultaneously protecting children from its potential harmful effects? You have 90 seconds.
Our school district has embedded technology with students in the classroom for a very long time now. AI is obviously some very uncharted territory. that we do need to take some thoughtful time to create policies around. To ensure that all families feel safe, our district is already working with its technology professionals to ensure that safety is a #1 concern. There are safety measures already put in place for the technology that we do have, flags that will come up if inappropriate things are happening on those district devices. But obviously AI is something very new that we do need to help educate our students about. It's the role of teachers and administrators in partnership with library media specialists and technology specialists to create lessons that help our students understand proper use of AI, because it's a very powerful tool. It's not going away, and it is something that they're going to probably be using after high school. So how to leverage that in a professional way, and how to make sure that they don't fall into any of those risk areas.
Thank you, Ms. Durline. Mr. Davis, you have 90 seconds.
Thank you, Bill. So this is a very poisonous minefield, potentially. But I have total faith and confidence in our superintendent and the majority of the existing school board. And if I'm fortunate enough to join that school board, that the manifestation of addressing this will look something like this. Nicole and Joel and I have been at many meetings together. They take this very seriously. This is similar to cell phones 25 years ago. This is similar to internet 30 years ago, or whatever the number is. This is now just a new manifestation of what can we do to make sure the parents, the community at large, the administration, the teaching staff, and the students, if we truly believe that our responsibility as a school board is to give all 3,785 students an independent, neutral, and safe educational environment where this would fit, anything short of that would be a total failure. So I know how the curriculum, the protection things work, because I've sat there. I've looked at the policy books. I've looked at the forms you have to fill out. I've heard the staff. I've seen the superintendent. I've seen the school board members ask questions. They take this very seriously. And if we can collectively agree that we can get this done without the finger pointing and the snarkiness, I think this will be very easy for this community to come to an understanding and an agreement to make sure that this happens.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Dr. Wappert.
All right, now finally a question that's in my wheelhouse. For those of you who don't know, I am the director of IT. I am currently working on the same situation or the same problem that we have at local government. AI, it's a gift and a curse, to be honest. You can develop some great stuff from it. My son knows AI really well. Sorry, he knows what I'm talking about. But there is a scary world. There is poisoning, there's hallucinations, there's a lot of bad stuff that can come from AI. I wrote a 176-page dissertation on it. For schools, what can we do? Well, we can educate our kids. Okay, I think one big thing is awareness, knowing what AI is, that not everything in AI is true, and that AI can create some pretty nasty stuff. There's things called deep fakes, where you can create videos and pictures and develop all this content that it can be used for malicious activities. I think education on AI is important. And then setting up guardrails, monitoring AI. There are many programs out there that can monitor what goes in AI and what comes out of AI. And I think it is important that if schools are going to allow AI, they need to invest in these technologies that can monitor this and keep their kids safe.
Thank you, Dr. Wappert. Ms. Kant-Schlimme, you have 90 seconds.
I was excited for this question too, because I was literally working today with our AI and cybersecurity team on putting training together for AI in the workplace and how to use it safely. Because there are a lot of ways that can go, but there are a lot of creative, useful ways to use AI, and I think this school district should really find a nice balance of how do we put these safe rails up, that students are safe, they can use it, the dangers aren't there, but how can we also leverage that to teach our students really critical skills? These are going to be skills that they need to use in the workplace, And you can put anything into AI, but what you get out is only as good as what you put into it. So I think we need to find a balance of teaching kids how to use it well, how to use it appropriately, and how to check those sources. Just like when I was growing up, we use Wikipedia or find a website, but I'd always have to look, does it have a .org or does it have something else to verify, which now it's a lot more complicated than when I was in high school. But I think we really need to find a balance. Utilize technology, though, to keep those safeguards, because it's going to be an important skill set for our kids to learn, but how to do it safely and keep them safe is going to be the key.
Thank you. And for the final response, Ms. Barker, you have 90 seconds.
Thank you. I honestly don't know too much about AI. I don't use it very often. But I do know that as a mom who does homeschool three of my children, there's definitely the potential for cheating. And AI can write papers for you and can make all kinds of fun things that, kids will use because they don't want to write it themselves. So I definitely think having guidelines in place, making sure there's policies in place that protect not only the students, but also the teachers, and making sure that there is ways to check for AI and make sure that the kids aren't cheating or whatever they may be doing with it. And then also, like Dr. Welford said, educating the kids on what is best practices and how to use it effectively and safely.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Barter. And we are approaching the time for submitting questions. I don't see too much traffic back there. Candidates, we might have time for 2 questions from the audience. So, ladies, if you could bring the top 2 questions up for me, that would be great. The next question, we will begin with Mr. Davis. Our next question pertains to character education. Some people say that guidance counselors and teachers have a role or even a responsibility to promote inclusivity and different forms of social justice, remove bias, and bring about the systemic change that results in equitable outcomes for all students. Others view the promotion of inclusivity and equity as indoctrination of students into specific values and worldviews regardless of the wishes and input of parents. What do you think? Is it the teachers' or counselors' responsibility to promote certain values in the school setting, or is value education best left to parents? You have 90 seconds.
It's best left to parents. I think we can all agree, no matter what research, no matter what scientific study, I'm a faith-based person, so I believe in creation, that we were wonderfully created and designed. We all know that by the time a person, a little boy or girl, is a kindergarten, 90% of their brain development is completed. So it is important, and I've got it here, you can come and look at it, or you can Google it online right now if you want to. I believe it is important, not only do we recognize that, but the manifestation of that is this. I can almost name every single teacher from elementary, junior high, high school, and college when I went to the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse. Why is that? Because all of them had a profound impact on my life. I wanted to be a teacher. I graduated from the University of Wisconsin and went right into administration. Where it gets messy, where it gets uncomfortable, when a staff member, whether it's a counselor, a teacher, administrator, principal, it doesn't make any difference, where they project onto a student what they think that student should think, feel, or do, or say. That is not their responsibility. Their responsibility is an independent, neutral, and safe educational environment. It is the parents' and the students' responsibility to develop character.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Dr. Woppert, you have 90 seconds.
All right. This goes back to when we talked about transparency and parents having access to what their students are learning. In a public school, we cater to families of all different backgrounds. We have people coming from different countries that come live here, and their students come here. They have their values, their norms. We have Christian families, we have atheist families. We have all these different norms, and I think teachers should not be promoting any bias or any side of the story. It's okay to present different and present balance to topics, which can lead to healthy discussion, which I think is very important. But it comes back to the point that if a parent does not feel comfortable having their student participate in that discussion or learning about something, they should have that right to exclude them from that. And once again, it should be balanced. Everything should be presented in a balanced manner. We're not going to promote one side over the other. It should be presented, not promoted.
Thank you, Dr. Wappert. Ms. Kant-Schlimme, you have 90 seconds.
Yeah, we have a wonderful community here in the Falls that, you know, we have a diverse community, a lot of different family makeups, and as a school board, we are, if elected, we are in charge of ensuring that we have that well-rounded education for our students. I do think our curriculum should be focused on accurate, standard-aligned teaching, whether that be in history, social studies, English, but give students factual understanding of our nation and the world. I do think it's important, though, for students to be on math, reading, and English, to be developing critical skills that they need for careers. One thing that I know that we look for leaders and things like that is we look for people who are self-aware, who can have those critical thinking skills. I think that really helps prepare our students in the future, and there's great ways to do this by presenting the factual information, but encouraging kids to have those critical thinking skills. So I do think it's really a balance there. I do think at the same time there needs to be transparency in the curriculum. And if something that's being presented is something that a family is uncomfortable for, they have those opt-out options available to them to pursue.
Thank you, Ms. Kant-Schlimme. Ms. Barker.
So, working in behavioral health, I believe it should be left up to parents, but also for kids who really struggle, they really do need that professional counselor to come in and give them some guidance, because our kids do struggle sometimes with mental health, and they don't know how to let it out the right way. But that's also where parents come in, because parents teach their children respect and how to be kind, how to love each other. And that's just, I think, something that comes in the home. I don't think teachers can give that to a student. But like I said, there is a balance, and there are times when a professional will need to step in, but we need to understand where that balance is. And as a school board member, we would be responsible for those policies and making sure that that line isn't crossed.
Thank you, Ms. Barker. And for the final response, Ms. Durline, if you could hand her the microphone. You now have 90 seconds.
The curriculum that we present to our students in the school district should not be focused on promoting an ideology, but should rather be focused on encouraging acceptance, open dialogue, critical thinking, respectful discussion, all real-life skills that our students will need when they exit high school and enter the real world. In the real world, they will need skills of social and emotional learning as well. There are state standards on social and emotional learning, and our students need to learn all of those things as well. So it's not about promoting an ideology, rather supporting students with understanding both sides of the story, making informed decisions, and critical thinking, because those are the skills that are going to allow them to be successful in their later lives. Our community is very diverse, And all families have the opportunity to opt out if they feel uncomfortable with any part of our curriculum. So being transparent about what that curriculum is so that parents know what is happening and can make an informed decision is an important role of the administration and the school board.
Thank you, Ms. Derline. We will go now to a question that came from one of the attendees tonight. And for this one, we'll begin with Dr. Wappert. You'll have 90 seconds to initiate your response here. In your opinion, when would it be in the interest of our students to reevaluate curricula in our classrooms and reevaluate books in the school's libraries?
Can you repeat that one more time?
Absolutely. In your opinion, when would it be in the interest of our students to reevaluate curricula in our classrooms and reevaluate books from our schools' libraries?
All right. Thank you for the question. I think it's important that we embrace an environment of continuous improvement. Standards change. New historical events happen all the time. I think this should be a constant review process. Now, that doesn't mean we can go out and frivolously spend money on new curriculum every year, but we were in a situation in Menomonee Falls where we had curriculum that's been here for 12 years, I think I heard. And it's like, wow, that's kind of dated. Their standards have changed. So it's important to review that stuff to make sure that we are doing a service to our students, to make sure that they are learning what is new and what is meeting or what is keeping up with the current standards from the Department of Instruction. It's the same with library books. And it goes without saying that some stuff gets dated. And there's a process that library books are removed from the library because they're old. They're falling apart. You know, we want to make sure that we have the materials that is up to date, current for our students, and that should be part of our continuous improvement process.
Thank you, Dr. Wappert. Ms. Kant-Schlimme, you have 90 seconds.
I think one thing to really leverage when looking to reevaluate curriculum, books, and libraries is leverage our educational professionals. This is what they went to school for, what they have expertise, and, you know, calling on them they'll kind of know, hey, is our stuff being outdated? How are state standards changing, and how are our curriculum and things like that aligning? I do think we need to evaluate and make sure that, you know, our history books cover all the way to the year that we're in, and we're teaching those curriculum currently right now. Unfortunately, in our U.S. history classes, the 21st century curriculum was eliminated, and so there are extra hurdles that our teachers have to do to teach those lessons to state standards. And so I think we do have to ensure that not only are we having up-to-date curriculum, but we're also providing approved curriculum to our teachers that they can teach to the state standards that we have. And I do think a transparent process needs to be with that. I think transparency and open communication is key, so parents, community members, and everyone in the district can feel confident in the process.
Ms. Barker, you now have 90 seconds.
So I think that there should be a cycle that we review curriculum every so often. Like 5 years, I know that's like kind of what we do for like computers and stuff, because every 5 years it kind of goes out of date. But so, you know, just make it on a cycle where we would review all the curriculum, see if it's still up to date, where the standards are. But I also think that if there is something that was removed, that, you know, maybe parents could have a way to ask for it to be back. I don't know if there is that in place right now, but I would support that. But it would be up to the full board. I know that they just changed their policy with the Neola policies to allow, if there is a challenge, for it to be a full board decision now instead of being removed at the committee level. I also think that only one unit was removed from high school. And there is still stuff that they teach. I know my child tells me that they still teach it. And the reason that it was removed was because it was extremely biased and it was one-sided. You have to have a balanced curriculum.
Thank you, Ms. Barker.
Thank you.
Ms. Durline.
It is absolutely best practice in education to be continuously monitoring and reevaluating curriculum on a cycle. It is something that school districts are already doing and in process of doing. We are asking ourselves questions of, are we meeting the state standards, which do sometimes change, and so it is important that we are evaluating those. It is important to look at our data and make data-driven decisions. Is this new curriculum moving our students forward in the way that we are expecting? And are we giving our students a fair shot? Are we looking at curriculums around our surrounding communities? And are we teaching to the highest standard and giving our students all of the information? Because the surrounding districts may be teaching about 21st century history, and if we're not giving our students a fair shot in that realm. So things of that nature, the continuously improving and evaluating is best practice in education all the time. And I do believe that that is something that we need to continue to do and ensure that our curriculum is being provided to give our students the best shot moving forward after high school.
Thank you, Ms. Durline. And for the final response, Mr. Davis.
Thank you, Bill. This should be done in real time, but let's be frank and candid with each other. There aren't enough trees in Wisconsin or ink in a barrel to write down every single little thing, because someone will pick it apart and go, well, that's not what it says. And then we have a lawsuit and we argue and we go on TV and Facebook and post nonsensical things. I don't think that's what this community wants, the majority. Now, when Nicole and Becky and Emily, do I have that right? Becky and Emily and I and Steve Taylor toured the schools with Mr. Munoz, we went through all 6 libraries. There's thousands and thousands, probably tens of thousands of books, and hundreds, if not thousands of them, are repurposed every single year. Now, we have to make sure that we follow Policy 361 and 365, which addresses your question, the library and the curriculum in the classroom. They have to be vertically aligned and consistent with state statutes, with settled case law, with the community standard in a constitutional representative republic, with the school board, and make that happen. We've spent $1 million on social studies, science, English language arts, math. We have achievement and growth scores that are going the right direction. Our AP classes at the high school are going in the right direction. 9 out of 361 schools. And the last thing is, I had a mom on Good Hope who told me that her little boys were being approached by citizens of this community by giving them these books that they shouldn't have been given.
Thank you, Mr. Davis.
Thank you.
I will refrain from saying anything, please. No outbursts. Thank you. All right. You have one more question listed on your sheets there. We're going to go ahead and go to that question. And so we will begin with Ms. Kant-Schlimme. The Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction began publishing student performance data in 2008. No data was published in school year 2014 and 15 as the assessment switched from reading to English language arts. 3 times since then, Wisconsin DPI has changed the cut scores that define performance categories, and each time Wisconsin student performance scores went up, while according to the nation's report card, Wisconsin student performance scores trended down. With this in mind, do you think proficiency should be defined against a consistent standard, or should the understanding of what constitutes proficiency be adjusted over time? You have 90 seconds.
I do think it likely does have to adjust over time because our world changes over time. I think it's important that we have standards that we work toward. I do have our DPI scores up in back compared to some others in our district, and we have made a lot of good growth over the past years. I will say some of our neighboring districts has as well. Some of them have made back their gains from pre-COVID. We have not quite done that yet. But I do really believe in all the teachers and educators that we have here. I think it is important that we stick to these standards, but I do also think it's important that we are focused on developing students to be well-rounded. Past that, it's important to, I think back to my teachers, they weren't only teaching out of the book. Some of the biggest lessons I had were some of the things in addition to that of critical thinking, looking at things in a different mindset. So with that, just want to reinforce that, yes, I do think the standards likely have to adjust over time as it world.
Thank you, Ms. Kent Schlemme. Ms. Barker, you have 90 seconds.
I actually think that if we're going to be compared with all the rest of the nation, then we should have a consistent standard through the whole nation, and every state should be meeting those proficiency standards. That's what the definition should be if that is what we are being graded on. I think that adjusting isn't necessarily a positive thing because it's adjusting so that it makes us look good on Wisconsin data but look bad on US data. So I think that academics should be rigorous and that they prepare students for life, not just for tests. But to do that, we have to look honestly at the data. And we do have a gap in our math. So our report card shows a 78.4, which is great, but our math growth score is only 75.5, which lags behind our achievement score of 81.1. So I think we need to fix that and have more rigorous curriculum.
Thank you, Ms. Barker. Ms. Derline, you have 90 seconds.
The proficiency standards are set out by the state of Wisconsin, and they are not the same in every state across the entire nation. Proficiency standards have changed over the last 10 years, and they're changing in other states as well, because our world is changing, and education looks different in different parts of our nation. So as a board member, it would not be my place to create these standards of proficiency. Rather, it would be my place to ensure that we are holding our students to the standards of proficiency already set out by the state of Wisconsin. It's important that we are meeting those standards and providing curriculum that allows our students to achieve. So it is not for me to decide what those standards are, but rather to ensure that our district is providing a curriculum that does meet those already provided standards. Those standards have been adjusted, and so it is important for us to look throughout the state of Wisconsin and how our students compare, throughout the country and how our students compare, but overall it is our job to provide rigorous curriculum that allows our students to meet their full potential.
Thank you, Ms. Derline. Mr. Davis.
Thank you, Bill. So to put this in proper context, of course it should be a consistent standard. And the context would be this: what are we doing from an achievement and growth standpoint? Achievement being in real time. What are the 3,785 students in those 6 schools with their support staff and teaching staff doing in real time for that purpose and that time? Then from a growth standpoint, how can we look back the previous year and see if there's been growth? All of the data, all of the facts, all of the truth show that our staff, teaching staff, administration, school board, money, you name it, is going up and to the right. Now, there aren't enough letters in the alphabet when things try to creep in to standards. And let's just name the names: DEI, CRT, SEL, CASEL, funded by billionaires that repurpose and they wash, rinse, and repeat. Well, when that doesn't work out, then it gets ugly and it gets messy. We don't want ugly and messy. Here's an idea. How about if we do reading, writing, and arithmetic? That's been around longer than I'm old. And that seems to have worked out for decades, with the changing, massaging a little bit to adapt to current standards. I think if we do that and approach it that way, we'll be just fine.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. And for the final response on this question, Dr. Whopper.
All right, thank you. One thing that the school district really focused on this year was academic growth. That is a constant that is repeatable year after year. Our students growing, okay? Standards can change, the way they do their assessments or performance evaluations can change, but growth is a constant indicator of student success. And this is published on the website. It's also published at EPI's website. Menomonee Falls High School, for academic growth this year, this past year, was 9th out of 361 schools. We are achieving and giving our students the best that we can give them. That is good, and that is evident by this statistic. 9th out of 361. And what is important to note is that regardless of what happens with the standards, we need to make sure we're preparing our students for the future. Whether they go to college, a trade, enter the workforce, into the military, we need to prepare them for adulthood.
Thank you, Dr. Whopper. For the last question, it came from a district resident. It's not on your paper, and this is going to be 15 seconds, so just let me know when 15 seconds is up. Might be the most passionate question of the night. And we're going to start with Ms. Barker. From an official 2024 survey, 80% of the village constituents responded that they do not agree with or want Phoenix as their mascot and community identity. Will you right this wrong and represent the vast majority of the school district, and I'm quoting this resident, by changing our mascot to Indian, Titan, or something else? Welcome to the minefield.
I'd say that I'm
Candidates?
leaving that up to the residents. If they bring that to the school board and they have the money to come behind it, because it costs a lot of money to change the mascot, I will be happy to do that.
Thank you, Ms. Barker. Please, Ms. Durline, when she gets the microphone, she will have 15 seconds.
Obviously, that was a hot topic several years ago, and it as Nicole said, it does take a lot of money to change that icon in all of our district items. So I think it is a very involved process that we might not understand how involved that is, but it definitely comes down to our community's thoughts.
Thank you, Ms. Durline. Mr. Davis.
Absolutely. And the way you handle this, of course, is you bring the community together, whatever that looks like, whether it's staff, whether it's taxpayers, whether it's moms and dads, whatever. I go to the high school a lot. The Indian logo is still at the high school, and it's represented proudly. We should not run away from the name, the Menomonee Falls.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Mr. Whopper.
All right, I believe how our name change was handled was wrong. That should have went to an advisory referendum where the community makes that decision. If we would go that route and the community says, hey, yeah, we want a name change, I would have no problem supporting that.
Thank you, Dr. Whopper. Last word on this question, Ms. Cantlemy.
As others have said, it does cost a lot of money to change it. If people do not like Phoenix, hopefully they have some money in their pockets to give to replacing uniforms and everything. I would just ask that whatever we replace it with is respectful of all communities.
Thank you, Ms. Cantlemy. All right. So we will now close with your closing statements. As a reminder, each candidate will have 60 seconds for your closing statement, and we will begin with Ms. Durline.
I just want to close tonight by first of all thanking everyone that came out tonight to hear all of our perspectives and for being such an active member in the community. It really means a lot. Your voices matter, and this school district and this election really matters. And what you think and what you have to say about it is what is driving this district. So thank you so much for being active and being involved. Public education is something I'm very passionate about and something that I have put my entire career into. I think that through all of my different experiences and a balanced perspective, I can make decisions that are thoughtful, balanced, and really take in all perspectives from our entire community when creating policies and looking at budget and making decisions that are best for our students.
Thank you, Ms. Durline. Mr. Davis, 60 seconds.
Thank you. Menomonee Falls is faced right now with a very different choice. The current school board is 5-2. Flipping of 2 seats will take it in a totally different direction that I don't think this community, the majority, in a constitutional representative republic that will honor and observe this year for 250 years, I don't think the majority of the people want to take this school district in that direction. Now, that's their choice, but I fundamentally disagree with the direction of the posts that I'm reading, of the videos that I'm seeing, where certain people running for this position want to take this district. I totally support our superintendent. I know there's people that want to have him removed on April 8th if they can, not me. I want him to stay. I totally support what this school board, the majority, have been going through for the last 3 or 4 years. It's almost unforgivable what they've gone through, but we will fix that as well. We're going up and to the right. We will continue to do that
Mr. Davis.
from a financial responsible way.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Whopper, you have 60 seconds.
All right, I want to thank everyone for coming tonight. It's been a privilege to serve the community the last 3 years on school board. And if it's your will, if it's the community's will, I hope you vote me, re-elect me back in on April 7th, so I can serve you for another 3 years. I've had a blast serving our kids, speaking at career days, handing out. The best feeling is when you hand out a diploma to a high school graduate. That is amazing. And I had the opportunity to hand that to my son, so that's pretty cool. But it really is about the students and serving our students, serving our community, making sure we are making the right decisions that we can help our students become successful as they become adults, and they can take care of us as we get old. So once again, I want to thank everyone for being here. I thank all these candidates for being here as well. It's unfortunate we couldn't have all 6 here tonight, but thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Dr. Whopper. Ms. Kant-Schlimme, you have 60 seconds.
I also want to thank everyone for being here. I think it's great to see a full room. That means we have a full room of people who really care about education and our community, and I can't think of a better thing than that. And that's really one thing that has inspired me to run for school board, because I really care that I want every student to have the tools that they need to succeed, not just to, get through to graduation, but to succeed in life. And I think one big part of that is our teachers and our staff. They make that possible. They deserve the respect, the resources, and support. And at the end of the day, I know I'm close on time, but I care deeply about our students, our schools, and our community. And if elected, I will work very hard to ensure that every student has the support to reach their potential.
Thank you, Ms. Kant-Schlimme. Final statement from Ms. Barker. You have 60 seconds.
Thank you again, Moms for Liberty, for this outstanding forum and for the relentless work that you do to empower parents, protect our children, and restore the education that serves our kids. Tonight I've shared why I am running and why this matters very deeply to me. I've spent my whole career, over 20 years, serving other people, and the last 3 years on the library board serving this community. I've dedicated my life to building stronger values within my own family and within the community. I think that we need fiscal responsibility where every dollar is wisely spent on classrooms, teachers, and proving student support, not on bureaucracy or agendas. I would audit for waste, maximize state aid, and
Thank you,
fight
Ms.
for better
Barker.
special ed.
Thank you, Ms. Barker. Appreciate it. Candidates, thank you very much for participating tonight. Would you guys please give them a hand? I have a list of folks I just want to give brief thanks to. I want to thank Falls Cable Access for streaming and recording tonight's event. I want to thank the library, the staff, Jackie, the library director, Thank you to Latitudes Cafe for providing the refreshments. Thank you to our volunteers, keeping time and taking care of the table back there and bringing in questions and making sure that everything just ran smoothly tonight. And I would like to please, if you could give all those folks a hand, I would appreciate that too. Running for public office is not easy. So I commend you again, the candidates, for your willingness to put in the work that it takes to win the election. And I want to thank those of you who have attended tonight's forum for being respectful and attentive. Thanks for holding it together. I pray that those who live here and all who watch this, those who are here live and all who watch this replay are now more informed about the candidates. I want to encourage all of you to exercise the freedom granted to you by God and protected over the centuries by the brave men and women in our armed forces. Vote on or before April 7th. May God's will be done in this election, and may God bless all of you. Good night.